It's Nikki. Happy 2019, and we're doing this old school style Call of Duty commentary. I know there's a couple of you guys who still watch my channel after all these years. Let's catch up a little bit. Let's sit down. I put out a call to action in Discord to ask for your questions, whether it be about myself, stories about what you've been doing, anything at all I'm happy to talk about. And I'll be addressing those after I do a little bit of an introduction. We got a couple of those lined up. The gameplay you're watching in the background are some scrims and kill confirmed against some pro players. Nothing too special. And if we need more gameplay, then I will continue to stick Call of Duty stuff on top of that. Join my Discord over at discord.gg/StealthShampoo because that is where I interact nowadays, mainly with the remainder of whatever community I still have, whether you started watching me in Evolve, Titanfall, Battleborn, The Last of Us, Destiny. I've been around for a minute. Let's talk about what's been going on since Evolve stopped in 2016. And I'm mostly going to be talking about what my year was like in 2018 and some things that are going to be coming up in 2019. So back in the day, as you guys know, end of 2016, Evolve was scrapped. Evolve Stage 2, I had put quite a bit of time into that game, thousands of hours over multiple years of gameplay. It's still the main thing that I'm known for to this day, and after Evolve was no longer going to be in development, I realized that it was no longer a sustainable thing for me to do, although extremely successful for the growth of my channel and the growth of myself as an entertainer. And in the broadcasting industry, I just couldn't keep playing a game that was not going to get any future updates. So with the closure of Evolve at the end of 2016, that's about when I also got an NVIDIA GTX 1080, which is one of the most expensive computer parts you need to build a VR setup. I'd actually spoken to Tucker Jericho at Gamescom 2016 about VR, and I was really curious about it. So January 2017, I got into that. Let's skip forward to January 2018. Let's talk about my year this year. I am really into VR at this point, really experienced with the games. I have a lot of great friends in the industry, and in January 2018, I went over to Vegas to compete in a sprint vector competition, took third place against my man Poonanners, who took first place, and my good friends Rook, Desert Bus Rook, and Skits, my main VR group of friends. We're all there in Vegas with me. It was great to see those guys, and I loved hanging out. Never been to Vegas before, and I maybe went a little bit too ham before the sprint vector competition. I was definitely hungover on that live stream. But it is what it is. That was their plan, to get me super wasted. And my first time in Vegas was fantastic. But getting into VR, I'm going to talk about that for a moment. I realize is just not something that I can do as a full-time content creator, with Evolve no longer being a thing and with VR not taking off as well as I want it to. I decided that I'm not going to be a full-time content creator anymore. I used to do this 8 hours a day, 7 days a week, posting YouTube videos, posting social media, sometimes even doing 25-hour streams. We've done multiple 25-hour streams when it came to Evolve. And in 2018, I just realized this isn't something that I can do. This isn't something I can sustain. There are other things I want to pursue. So we'll talk a little bit more about that later. But with VR, I kind of wanted to last-ditch effort, try to get back into full-time content creation. But VR is really more popular when it comes to the goofy, silly stuff. And not that there's anything wrong with that. Not that there's anything wrong with having a laugh and messing with your friends. But that's just not the kind of content I want to make. I want to make high-skill gameplay. I want to show people things they might not know about a game. And with VR, it's too niche. There's too few people playing VR at a high level for me to fulfill the niche that I want. And I don't want to go and do goofy, silly commentaries where I'm screaming and running into walls. And nothing wrong with people who actually do that. Nothing wrong with people who enjoy that content. But that's not what I want to do. So that's what's up. Was in January 2018. Went to a sprint vector competition in Vegas. And then in March, during spring break, I was still in school at this time, went back to Japan. I was there for a little bit less than 3 weeks. And as you guys know, Kitty lives in Japan. Stay with her. And this time she moved to a much nicer place. This was my second time in Japan. Same city, but it was downtown. And I absolutely fell in love with Beppu, which is where she lives, and the surrounding areas. We'd take rides to the city nearby. I absolutely love it there, especially now that she was in downtown. You could walk to basically anywhere. Their transportation in Asia is fantastic. You could take buses anywhere. There are ferries and trains, and the trains are so quiet, and everyone is so respectful in that country. And it's just such a different atmosphere than what I'm in, that I honest to God, though, despite the fact that I've only spent about 30 days of my life in Japan total, I could honestly see myself being very happy working a low-end job. I'm talking like cashier at a grocery store. This is assuming I spoke perfect Japanese. Living in a small apartment and just being there for a year or two of my life, like that's somewhere where I'd actually be really happy. If work visas aside and language barriers aside, that's somewhere where I'd be very happy to spend a lot of my time. And I really loved it there. I would go out on walks just for hours in the middle of the night, just looking around the city. March is a beautiful time to go to Japan. Cherry blossoms were blooming right as I left. There was so much to do. I went to see this mountain full of monkeys. I met some friends there. I was actually playing Pokemon Go while I was in Japan. And as you know, Japan is the land of Pokemon. I met a bunch of people there who were also playing. And despite language barriers, they're always willing to direct me to the next Pokemon raid. I actually got into 2 complete strangers' cars, one of which spoke no English. He was this old man. He's probably 75 years old, something like that. And we couldn't communicate at all except with hand gestures and pointing at cool Pokemon we owned. And I was not afraid of getting murdered. These people were incredibly friendly. I went around the whole city just being guided by 2 people who actually live there. It was a really unforgettable experience. And for those of you who, like me, are in your early 20s or even 30s, I'd totally recommend setting aside some money for traveling. It was expensive, not going to lie. Spent a couple $1,000s. Plane tickets to Asia are not cheap from California. But I really feel like it was a transformative experience. It really gives you something to talk about, too, with other people. A lot of people go to Japan. It's just, I wasn't in Tokyo or Kyoto or anywhere major. I do want to have that kind of touristy experience. But I really got the legitimate, like, all right, let's go to the grocery store. Let's cook. Let's go out to dinner. No one here speaks English, barely. I absolutely fell in love with that city, and I'd love to go back. And that's the second time I've been there, and I didn't hate it either time. Anyway, let's go ahead and skip ahead to May when Beat Saber came out. Beat Saber was huge, and one of my worst miscalculations in, I think, ever on my Twitch career. I'm not going to say ever. I'm going to say top 5. Was deciding to move over to Mixer to do Beat Saber. The reason I decided to do Beat Saber on Mixer and try to start a Mixer channel is because Twitch is oversaturated. I have a lot of friends over there at Mixer, a lot of contacts, and I just thought that this is a new place where I want to start over. People are constantly leaving my Twitch channel because I'm no longer streaming Evolve. I cannot pivot. I was the Evolve guy, and I'm no longer the Evolve guy. My follower count will drop no matter what I do on Twitch. Let's start fresh on Mixer. Bad decision. Mixer's market is all console gamers, which PSVR Beat Saber wasn't out at the time, and I thought, oh, PSVR, there's a lot of best-selling headset in the world, actually, as far as VR goes. Maybe I'll be able to carve out a niche over on Mixer. It just wasn't going to work out. Meanwhile, Beat Saber blew up on Twitch while I was gone, and I've decided ultimately, actually, that I just don't want to pigeonhole myself into Beat Saber again. Also, let's say I get popular at Beat Saber on Twitch. That's fine. I don't just want to be known as the Beat Saber guy. You know, it's just too hard to be a specialty streamer, and that's what I want to do. But I've just decided to go out and get a real job, which I may talk about a little bit later. Anyway, I also picked up Dance Rush, which is this Japanese arcade game that I tried to find while I was in Japan. And I go out to the arcade sometimes 3, 4, 5 times a week, 2 times a week on a bad day, but there's a round 1 opening up near my house. I go there very often. It's like, think about Dance Dance Revolution, but it's the whole floor and it's shuffling. It is an incredible game. And it's real good cardio too. I'm playing the hardest songs on that game. And I think between Beat Saber, Dance Rush, and all my practice in Sprint Vector in January, I've really, I'm not going to say I'm ripped, but I'm definitely not fat. I'm not getting fat. I'm feeling good. I have a lot more cardio and stamina than I normally would, thanks to VR, thanks to playing so much Beat Saber and Dance Rush. And I've really had a renewal of love for rhythm games. Of course, now with Evolve no longer being a thing, I'm also picking up like Pokemon and Call of Duty again, as you're seeing this Call of Duty gameplay. But let's go ahead and skip over to June, where I went over to E3. I've gone to E3 every year for the past 6 years, something like that. And as always, great networking. I would highly recommend it if you're in the gaming industry to go to E3. But if you're just a random gamer, stay at home and watch the trailers. Don't come out to LA where it's hot. The lines are too damn long. Just stay home. But for me, great business opportunities. If you're in the industry, if you're a streamer, great place to go. But E3 is what inspired Poon Anders and myself. My whole crew from Vegas in January came out to E3. Poon Anders was nice enough to put them up in hotels and fly them out and stuff. Rook Desibus, Rook, Poon Anders, and Skits. We were all at E3. And Poonanners and all my friends are really inspired. Let's do something. Now that I'm no longer a streamer, I want some kind of credential, some kind of connection in the industry. So Poonanners and I started V Respawn. And V Respawn, for those of you guys who don't know, is our esports VR website where we talk about the latest developments, and honestly, mostly Onward because it's the biggest VR esport, but also Echo Combat. We're talking about what the teams are doing, what's happening with the patches, what cool games are coming up. It's all about competitive VR. And so Poonanners and I started that a little bit after E3, and that has gone incredibly well. I'm really proud of what the team has done. Honestly, there are guys out there who are doing much more work on V Respawn than myself. Of course, Poonanners is Moneybag in it, Hasko, our lead writer, and all of the Onward guys. Thank you guys for covering Onward because I'm a Pavlov player, which is a different VR FPS, and I cannot keep up with both at the same time. Also, I'm playing Beat Saber, which is not really a competitive VR game. It is, but it's more like bowling, you know, where you're playing against yourself and not so much the other person. But regardless, that's what went on with V Respawn. Is we launched a little bit after E3, and it's been going super well. So well, in fact, that in September, Oculus Connect V came around, which is my favorite conference of the year now. I was at Oculus Connect 4, Oculus Connect 5. I have so many friends. There's so much cool stuff to see. Facebook money bags the hell out of it. Security is tight, but not annoying. There's grilled burgers. Apparently the macaroni and cheese is incredible there. I didn't get to have any. They had a giant flamingo. It was great. Lots of games. But what happened to Oculus Connect 5 was I secured quite a bit of money from Facebook with the help of Poonanners and the rest of V Respawn to plan a huge party. We're talking like 200 plus people. I think it was 200 plus. But we secured funding for that. I was in charge of more money than I've ever been in charge of in my life. I had to get the venue. I had to order the food, drinks. I was in charge of the catering. Of course, there was an unlimited chicken tendies bar. I'm extremely proud of that. I was in charge of the entertainment, everything. This party was all on me to go off successfully. And I don't think I did perfect, but I think I did as good as you could possibly do for the first time. I'm really proud of myself on that one. I put together this huge party. Facebook was really impressed. All my friends really seemed to have enjoyed themselves. I got to DJ at the party in Electronauts and premiere some secret songs that aren't even in the game yet and may never be in the game. I got to DJ at my own party. That was sick. Absolutely loved it. Loved Oculus Connect 5. Loved seeing everyone. That was just real proof that I'm kind of an adult now, right? Like I can handle all this money, and I know there are party event planners who do this professionally and do it all the time, but it was on me to do this in 4 weeks, 5 weeks, something like that. I did not have a lot of time to find a venue and secure this party. And there are pictures up on the V Respawn Facebook if you guys want to, check to make sure that that was actually real. But we're getting to the end of the year here. Now moving over to October, where I went down to Missouri. Love Missouri. I've really started to love traveling since I started doing it for 2K games, and they've been flying me to Germany and Boston and LA, and I've been to a lot of places, and Missouri is somewhere that I wasn't too sure if I'd like. I've never really been to the Midwest. I was there for a week. Actually loved it. It was too damn quiet, but I worked with the Splitverse guys on a VR music video that is coming out very, very soon. I have seen the first cuts of this video. It is sick as hell, and I'll be promoting the hell out of that here on StealthShampoo on my Twitter and all that stuff. But really like going out to Missouri. Then, of course, there was TwitchCon, which TwitchCon sucked. I'm not really going to talk much about that. And in December, I graduated college, finally, after 5.5 years. I finally have my broadcast electronic communication arts degree from San Francisco State, which translated into normal people talk is a degree in TV and radio, is a degree in broadcasting. And at the beginning of StealthShampoo, if you remember back to the T-Loud days, I said this whole streaming, this whole YouTubing thing was just something I do on the side to kind of work on my skill set, to work on my abilities on camera. And after college, I'd have to go out and get a real job, which I do. I now have a real job. I love it. It isn't an incredible job that I'm going to spring into the greatest career ever, but it's a great start for having just come out of college. And I'm going to be writing that for a while. But as far as StealthShampoo goes, we have the Splitverse videos coming out, and I'm not sure what's going to go on past that. I do want to still have connections to the gaming industry. One thing I forgot to mention was at TwitchCon, I was on a VR panel which I got a lot of good feedback on that. A lot of people said they got a lot of good information out of me from that. And I love to be on panels and share what I know about the industry, especially because I do have a traditional background in broadcast entertainment, although this whole new media thing is going crazy with the internet and viral videos and things spreading faster than they ever have. I think I really have a nice skill set, a nice blend between new media, I guess the short form content like Vine's Rip Vine, or YouTube videos and Twitch streams, but also a background in traditional media like film and actual television, sitcoms, stuff like that. So that's where I am right now. We have split first videos coming out. I have multiple VR music videos coming out with DJ Nikki in 2019. And from there, I just got to figure out what I'm going to do with StealthShampoo. StealthShampoo, I believe, turns 9 years old on January 30th, which is also the same day I turned 24. So I'm well out of my early 20s at this point. I can no longer make an argument that I am a youngin'. But let's go ahead, and now that I've fully recapped my year in 15 minutes, for those of you who are still listening, let's get over to the questions, comments, concerns, replies, whatever you have dropped to me in Discord. All right, first question comes from Nagel. List these games in order to favorite to least. Black Ops 2, Black Ops 3, Black Ops 4, Infinite Warfare, Battleborn, Evolve Stage 2, Destiny, T-Lao, Dreadnought, Cookie Clicker, Pokemon Go, Persona 5, Getting Over It with Bennett Foddy. So in the spirit of Smash Ultimate, a game that I've been playing a lot lately, I've decided to make a tier list to help segment these games. Instead of just going one through however many games there are, I think this tier list will really show you how much superior certain games are over others. So in the S tier, these are games that have not only changed my life, but also really evolved my outlook, really changed the way that I see myself and the world around me. And in the S tier are Cookie Clicker and Getting Over It with Bennett Foddy. Now you might be thinking, Nikki, what the hell? Well, first off, I have to put Cookie Clicker up at the top because it's just the game that I have the sheer most hours into. And it's also taught me a lot about math and antimatter condensers and converting cookies into light and physics and geometry and working hard and moving forward is why Cookie Clicker is up at the top in S tier. Right below it in S tier is Getting Over It with Bennett Foddy. Of course, that is a game that frustrated thousands of people. Unfathomable amounts of keyboards, mice, and computer electronics have been destroyed playing this video game. And I played through it twice for pure pleasure. In fact, I would play it again if I didn't have so many other games to play right now. But it was a game where there was no mercy. If you fell, there were no checkpoints. If you guys don't know, you're a man with a hammer and you climb a mountain. It's one of the greatest games I've played in my freaking life. And if you fall down the mountain because you're climbing with a hammer, it's kind of hard to do. There's no going back. You got to climb back up to the top. No save files, no easy way to get back, no jetpacks. And the game taught you that life is about progression, but sometimes inevitably you're going to have to go back. You're going to have to try again. You're going to have to recollect yourself, pick yourself back up, and run it back. And that's why Getting Over It with Bennett Foddy, I could speak for hours on that game, but that's why it's really changed my outlook on life, really got me through some hard times. So Getting Over It with Bennett Foddy up in the S tier. At the A tier, in this order, we have Black Ops 3, 2, 4, Persona 5, and Evolve Stage 2. Black Ops 3, I'm saying, is the best Black Ops in Nagel's list because I was not against the movement system. None of the guns were ass. Black Ops 2's Executioner, looking at you. Black Ops 3 was a fantastic game. I enjoyed it, and the advanced movement did not bug me one bit. Black Ops 2, similarly, great game, boots on the ground, a lot of great memories there in League play, and the guns all served a purpose with the exception of the Executioner, which only existed to be the worst gun in Black Ops since the Outlaw. And Black Ops 4 is in last place out of the Black Ops series right now because it's just, I have a feeling it's being really glitchy. Like there's the looting glitch right now on console where you can't pick stuff up. The backpack disappears. I got stuck in the floor in Summit, a map that's been in like every Black Ops since Black Ops 1. And I got stuck in the stairs the other day. I don't understand what's going on with Black Ops 4. My only theory really is that because there's no campaign and they added Blackout, now they have a team juggling balance of Blackout, zombies, and multiplayer, where previously the campaign was fire and forget. They didn't really ever have to patch that, and it was multiplayer zombies. So I really think they're spread thin here. And Black Ops 4 hasn't lived its full life cycle yet, but I don't think it's going to surpass Black Ops 3 in my book as my favorite Black Ops. Black Ops 2 is not too far behind it. Persona 5, I have not finished. I have an insane amount of hours in that game. That game is so much bang for your buck, single player goodness. The music is fantastic. The characters, the art, everything about that game is beautiful. My time management in Persona 5 is better than my time management in real life. Persona 5 down there at the lower A tier, only because I didn't finish it. And Evolve Stage 2 is up there as well, just because I made a lot of money playing that game, to be completely honest. At B tier is Evolve. Now, I know some people really support Evolve Legacy. That Evolve Legacy was great, but you guys remember Torvald on launch? You guys remember Sunny Slim on launch? Evolve was a good game, but all anyone ever played was the Kraken. I know Dead Rebirth is listening here. He's like, but I played the Raid. Everyone played the Kraken in competitive. Bob was used twice, and I've casted hundreds of matches. Evolve was the broken, unbalanced, while still a great game, it was the foundation for Evolve Stage 2, which was huge quality of life updates, more diverse characters available. The maps were well balanced. Look at weather control in Legacy versus Stage 2. And then down below Evolve, we have Battleborn, a game that unfortunately did not do as well as I had hoped, but I think it was still a great game, although not easy to get into. And the campaign was not very good until the DLC came out. Dreadnought right behind it. I don't play Dreadnought too much anymore, but man, that game really killed itself in my mind because of the 3-man team limit. You had 8-man teams, but you can only take parties of 3, so you had to carry potatoes all the time. But it's still, I think, a good game and a great free-to-play model game. Of course, Fortnite is the superior gold standard for free-to-play. I think Dreadnought did a great job as well. Down at C tier, we have Destiny. God, I hate MMOs. I cannot stand grinding and then stuff being released and then your previous stuff you grinded for being irrelevant. In the same vein, Pokemon Go is a glitchy mess. Sending gifts is a pain in the ass. The UI is horrible. The game is slow. Pokemon Go is down there at lower C tier. Over at D tier, we have watching paint dry. I know that's not a game Naggle listed, but that's where it sits. And then below that is Infinite Warfare. Infinite Warfare, Infinity War games, I'm not going to play anymore, period. With the exception of Modern Warfare Remastered. Down at garbage tier, we're skipping E tier, skipping F tier, we're going down to G for garbage tier. We have T-Lao. I don't need to explain this one. All right, Ryan asks, what do you think should be the response to the U.S. following the apparent assassination of journalist Jamal Khashoggi carried out by the Saudi Arabian government? So here's the thing. One thing you can do in life is just not answer the question. You can say, I do not have enough information to answer this question in the way that it needs to be answered. And you could just walk away. I don't need to say that we need to completely pull out of Saudi Arabia because something about the economy, or I don't have to say, you know what, that was immoral. We need sanctions on them. I don't even know what sanctions are. All right. There's really two thought processes here. And that's immoral. Dude, there was a bone saw involved. You guys killed that man and chopped him up. Or there's we got to hold our allegiance with them for economic reasons. At the end of the day, it's bad that free speech is kind of being infringed upon here because that was the murder of a journalist. But then again, I don't know enough about the economy and I don't have enough information to really stand on a solid piece of ground here. Pete asks, if you had to choose your overall favorite character or hero to play as, what would you choose and why? My first instinct, of course, is to choose the single most overpowered character / hero I know of in gaming, and that is Starter Eevee from Pokemon Let's Go Eevee. Look, if you come at me with that Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu bullshit, I'm going to shut you down. Pikachu has no type coverage. What's he got? Electric, water. We have Eevee has every single evolution as a move with a great base power of 90, plus an added status effect. Eevee can use grass, ice, fairy, fire, all the evolutions. Sizzly Sizzle burns Pokemon. Bubbly Bubble is a lifesteal. Sappy Seed is a staple of competitive Pokemon, with you being able to basically leech seed and do damage. It's a great way to threaten Rhydons. Starter Eevee is the most overpowered Pokemon. Just period. It can do so many things. It's buffer than a normal Eevee. It's got better base stats with 85 base special defense, making it a decent special defense swap in. with an insane amount of moves, with an insane amount of abilities, some of which, like, for example, Eevee can be a cleric. There's no other Pokemon in Pokemon Let's Go that can be a cleric. Eevee is unbelievably overpowered and probably my favorite hero to play as, just because you can go through the entirety of the Pokemon campaign with your eyes closed because Eevee's got such great type coverage. All right, Lily Jones asks, if you could be the best in the world at one game and one game only, what would it be? The obvious answer here is Fortnite. I had to quit playing Fortnite because I did not want to put in the time it takes to be one of those freaking maniacs who are building at 1,000,000 miles an hour while firing their gun, while trying to dodge explosives. Now there's airplanes in the game or something like that I don't even understand. Here's what I do. I would play Fortnite at a level that was the best in the world, better than Tfue, better than Cloaksy, and I would compete probably for a year. Fortnite's not going to be around forever, but I imagine it's going to be around for at least a couple more years. And I'd play at a level where I make an insane amount of money. I don't care about the fame. I don't care. I just want the money. Make a couple $1,000,000, right? Then invest that money. Then I quit Fortnite. Invest that money into real estate, because real estate's always a smart thing to invest into, and just live the rest of my life. I enjoy Fortnite enough to play it for a brief amount of time, but I imagine if I were to do that for over 2 years, I would go absolutely insane. And I have this philosophy where I don't feel valuable. That's as a Fortnite player. Even if I was if I was the best in the world, that'd be a different story. But if I was a top 100 Fortnite player, if I was a top 500 Overwatch player, who cares? Fortnite players, Overwatch players, League of Legends players, those games, well, I was going to say those games are great, but I hate Overwatch. Those are video games that those players who are good are a dime a dozen, unless you're at the top. Unless, of course, you're a Tfue or a Cloaksy or one of those maniacs way up there who are dropping insane kills in tournaments with people of equal skill level. If I was top 100 at Fortnite, let's say I was the 100th best Fortnite player, which is not part of the question, who cares? Who cares if you're top 100 at Fortnite? People only care about the top 12, or top 5. I don't just want to be another person supporting a game that's already well supported, which is why I love supporting Evolve, which is why I love playing Battleborn and Dreadnought and even Pokemon, competitive Pokemon. Everyone knows Pokemon, but very few people play competitive Pokemon. I just don't want to be another number, another player who's really good at this game, because ultimately, who cares unless you're the absolute best? Name a Call of Duty team, right? Unless you're super into COD, you're only naming Optic, Envy, and the top 3-ish teams. No one cares if you're top 10, That's my outlook on it, but to answer the question completely, yes, I would be amazing at Fortnite, and I would cash out and invest in real estate. All right, let's wrap this up here. Ryan says, what dead game corpse are you most proud of? There seems to be a reoccurring theme with these questions here. That was extremely distasteful, but I'm not going to cut it out. There's too much editing to be done here. Probably Brink. Little do you guys know, I killed Brink. I bought that game on launch. I was debating between Mortal Kombat 9 at the time and Brink. I got Brink. I was like, wow, there is no replay value in this. And so I got Mortal Kombat, and I was $60 in the hole because I was a kid at the time. So I went a little bit overboard on my gaming spending there, but I single-handedly killed Brink. As you guys know, I killed Evolve, I killed Battleborn. Some people still think I killed Lawbreakers, although that was truly a master. So whoever killed Lawbreakers was far more skilled of a video game player-based murderer than I am. I will not take credit for that, but Brink is one that I played that died, so that was good. All right, Phoenix says, my parents gave me $100 for Christmas. What should I get with it? All right, here's the thing. I know, Phoenix, you're a young kid, all right? You're going to be going off to college soon. I don't think Phoenix is in college yet, so here's what you do. Save that $100. I know saving is not a concept that's easy for young men to really, especially millennials, to hold on to, but save that $100. Now, hear me out here. Your first week of college, especially if you move out of the house, you're going to get wasted. You do not understand the limits of your liver and your body yet. So what you're going to do is you're going to save that $100 for condoms and Pedialyte. Now, hear me out here, Nikki. What the hell is Pedialyte? Ryan introduced this to me at TwitchCon 3, it was, in 2017. Pedialyte rehydrates you. It's got electrolytes. It's better at rehydrating the human body than water. I got absolutely destroyed the other night. Not even for New Year's. I had to be sober, super sober Nikki on New Year's. I got absolutely destroyed the other night before New Year's. And you know what saved my ass? The Walgreens next to my work that sold Pedialyte because, man, I was hung the fuck over. Save that money for condoms and Pedialyte. Of course, kids are more expensive than condoms. Let's just plain and simple. But Pedialyte is not a cheap drink, but is something you absolutely need to keep in your car. Don't let it get warm. Keep it in one of those like bags if you know you're going to go out, one of those temperature saving bags. Keep it a little cold. Keep it in your fridge at home for when you wander home. Keep it in your mini fridge in your dorm. Every young man like you, Phoenix, needs Pedialyte, and $100 will cover your Pedialyte and condom expenses for quite a while. I am telling you, invest in your future. All right, this has gone on long enough. Have a good 2019, ladies and gentlemen. Join my Discord at discord.gg/StealthShampoo because that's where I hang out with all of my current community, whoever is left in it. Instagram.com/StealthShampoo, Twitter.com/StealthShampoo. And I will see you guys probably in some more videos in 2019, some more VR stuff. We'll see what I'm going to do with my whole life, my whole career. I do have to eventually move away from the current job that I have and go to a real career, go work at a news station or something fun like that. But for right now, I'm taking a break, chilling at home and doing what I do, which is play video games and pretend that people want to watch 30-minute videos of me talking. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I've been Nicky from StealthShampoo, and I will see you all some other time.
Like, Brave, I warn you, this is Morocco. This is
Hey, I'll play the map, dude. I'll play the map, you know? You gotta play the players, not the game.
Yeah. You're out here playing checkers. Brave's playing chess.